My daughter just saw her father who passed last month. Yeah, she should be asleep, but it's Christmas break, so I allow her to stay up as long as she functions the next day. She was playing Sims on her computer on the couch. I can see her from my bedroom door. I heard her gasp, and I looked out and she looked terrified and confused. I ran out and said, "What's wrong?" And she curled in a ball and started crying. She said she just looked up from her computer and her dad was standing there looking at her. Pretty creepy. Also kind of amazing. If anyone has stories of when they were a child and had seen someone who has passed, please add it here. I'd love to show my daughter so she knows that it's normal. Well, not normal, but it happens. So my dad passed away when I was 8 years old. I hadn't seen him for a few years, and him and my mother weren't together anymore, so it didn't affect me too much, even though it affected my mom quite a bit, and she was crying when she told me. So when I was 8, I had a paranormal experience involving my dad. This is the only paranormal experience I've had that I've remembered vividly. To summarize, I saw him while sleeping in my mom's room early in the morning. He gave me the evilest look, and I was very scared, and he kissed my mom on her forehead. That's the important details. It was definitely my dad and not an evil entity. So basically, I think about it every now and then, and tonight I brought it up to my mom, and we both talked about the experience. Tonight I found out that my mom was having dreams about him around this time, and I said to her, "I've never seen him again. I wonder why." She goes on to tell me that the last ever dream she had of him was her asking if she will see him again. He said no, this was the last time, and that was it. We have never heard from him again. I've been crying over this for a while now, because it makes me so sad that he never said goodbye to me. My mom got all these dreams from him, and I got a scary encounter that has traumatized me for the rest of my life. I don't know why he gave me that mean look. And my mom got a forehead kiss. Also to note that my dad was married to another woman before he passed, so I don't get the forehead kiss. Maybe it was the proper class goodbye. Everything confuses me about this, and I'm sad I never got to properly say goodbye to him. I hope he visits me in my dreams like he did with my mom, and says a proper goodbye, so I can be at peace with myself and my strained relationship with him. Another update. I wrote this text yesterday but copy and pasted it here. I spoke out loud trying to contact him, saying that I miss and love him and would appreciate if he gave me a sign and could appear in my dreams and give a proper goodbye. I said that if he didn't, he doesn't love me, or he just isn't receiving the message. I woke up that morning, nothing. I had a restless night's sleep, but no signs from him. Why is he ignoring me? I know he can hear me. I know he can see how much sadness this situation brings me. I played his favorite song a couple times a day too, and nothing. Sometimes I feel his presence, but he never gives me anything more. If he isn't gonna give me any signs, why can't he just say goodbye to me and give me one last message? Hey all, I'm a big believer since I've had several supernatural experiences from around the ages of 7 to 24. Sometimes I was not alone, which is a comfort because otherwise I would think I was possibly a little crazy. There is only one I wish to focus on because it's the most bizarre. My brother died when I was 7, and on the night he was taken to the hospital, I had to stay at a friend's house. We were sleeping in bunk beds, her on top and me on the bottom, and the light was still on. I think I was reading a book when a hand came out from under the bed. It never touched me, and I hid quietly under the quilt and didn't say anything. The biggest detail would be the hand itself. It was brown and disfigured and also physically here, so not transparent in any way. Can't give any further details. Couldn't sleep for hours and nothing came out from the bed. Since I continued to have sightings over the years, I refuse to believe this wasn't real. But then that brings about the question of if it was real, then what the hell was it? When I was younger, I used to perform in community theater plays and musicals a lot. I went on to get a degree in acting and am now working as a professional stage actor. But I got my start in a little community theaters in my hometown. One of the last shows that I was in before moving away for college was Monty Python's Spamalot. It's essentially the movie Monty Python and the Holy Grail run into a stage musical. I loved being in this show. It was hilarious and audiences loved us every night. On the closing night of the show, we were performing one of the big dance numbers in the second act. This number involved several members of the cast, myself included, running down from the stage and into the aisles in the audience to do a little bit of a fun audience interaction. When I got to my mark in the aisle, I locked eyes with a man just a few rows away from where I was. Maybe 2 or 3 seats in from the aisle. Auditorium was dark and I never would have expected this in my wildest dreams. So it took me a few moments to even register. This man was my grandfather who had passed away 4 years prior to this. No, it wasn't someone who looked like him, unless he had a secret identical twin. This was my grandfather, and there are no two ways around it. He made eye contact back at me, gave me a thumbs up, and I stumbled back to the stage as I forgot my choreography due to what I just saw. I made a mental note of where he was sitting and looked back at the seat during the next scene of the show. Sure enough, by then, he was no longer there. The seat was empty. I checked multiple more times throughout the rest of the show, wondering if the seat was just empty due to someone getting up to use the restroom. But no, it remained empty. I even went so far as to ask the box office manager after the performance, who confirmed that nobody had purchased that seat for the performance. I'll give you the one I think is pretty disturbing. I don't have a name for it. Everyone I tell this story to never believes me. But me and my friends know what we saw. It's been about 2 years now. Me and my buddies were juniors in high school at the tail end of the lockdowns. We had a free day and decided to hang out. One of my buddies, G, told us about an old KKK mural carved into a wall on one of the local paths in the woods. Me and R decided, let's go see it. It was about noon and we went and saw it. We had the horrible idea of coming back at night because it would be creepy. So that's what we did. We went back to R's house and got ready and chilled for the evening. Around 11 p.m. that night we headed to the mural. I was pulling in and just had a gut feeling it was a bad idea, but my friends insisted. We got out of the truck and started walking up the trail. The ground was extremely muddy and we couldn't walk very far. We videotaped it as we walked. I was in the back and I kept saying that it feels like the start of a horror movie. When we got about halfway up the trail, I could just feel like we were being followed. We kept telling them we should turn back and that I was being a wuss. At this point, I'm on high alert. We started getting closer and I could hear bushes shaking and what sounded like whispering. I told them we need to leave now, but I was ignored and being told we were close. At the point, I'm ready to sprint, but we got close to the mural. My buddy G took his flashlight and shined it directly on the mural, and it was pitch black, like no light was on it at all. At this point, a tree branch had snapped, and I said we were leaving. They started to listen to me, and we all bolted. Now, I've said this before, I can sort of see demons and angels, only their eyes. I believe that this is the night where it clicked in my brain. While we were running back to my truck, we could hear faint laughing, like we were being toyed with. We eventually got back to my truck. We had to throw some stuff in the bed and open the tailgate, and it just came right off. Now, my truck isn't the greatest, but it's not a beater. It shouldn't have come off whatsoever. At this point, I felt incredibly calm, while my buddies were all freaking out. I felt safe, and it was like my body was glowing blue, just like angel eyes, though nobody else saw. I was calm until I looked up at the trees in front of us, and we all saw it. Demons. I could only see their eyes, but I counted at least 20. My buddies only saw the 2 standing in the trees. They saw all of their body. We jumped in the truck and bolted out of there. To this day, we don't really talk about it. Anytime they reference it, I stop them. I fully believe in stepping either into a nest or their zone. Ever since I've been able to see the eyes of beings and feeling their presence, my ears now rings heavily inside of churches, funeral homes, and graveyards. I cannot explain why. You may not believe me, but never go anywhere like this.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross